Welcome to the live critique of the color palette and mood board challenge that we had in our Facebook group among students. So welcome. I'm going to give people about 2 minutes to kind of join the live video, and I'm just going to upload it on my other computer so I can see any comments that you make throughout the video. I'm going to go ahead and head over there now. We're just going to wait 2 minutes. There's my live stream. So let me go ahead and load that so I can see any comments you guys make on my other screen. Let me turn my volume down on that one. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me. Whoever comes on here first might be a while. I know I have some people in other time zones that will not be able to make it live, so they'll be able to watch the video afterwards. So I'm just going to play around for just a minute or two while we're waiting on people. Just talking about the color.adobe.com resource that I kind of used as the inspiration for this challenge. It's such a powerful tool, and it kind of is a little bit of color theory that you can learn by playing around with this website. You can learn all about color theory by simply playing around. So I just kind of opened up color.adobe, and you're able to kind of mess around with the color wheel. And if you don't know all your kind of color theory basics, you have your analogous colors, and which are kind of close together on the color wheel. And what I love about this tool is you can kind of move things around, so you can move to different color palettes. But what's really cool is I can actually bring this down and make the colors more muted and soft, or bring them up higher and make them dark and rich. And you can also even kind of adjust the tightness of it. So you can have them be really tight together, analogous colors, or have them be really wide apart and then softer too. Or if you do the middle one, I think they all do it together. So I absolutely love this tool. And then you can kind of shift around your color palette. That's not a very attractive color palette, is it? Let's switch to complementary colors, which are going to be the opposite sides of the color wheel. Of course, you can turn this around to find the right shades. And what I love about this is you can actually create your palette in a certain order. So darker to maybe a medium shade to lighter to then a different color. So that's what I kind of like about this tool. You got your hex codes, which if you do web design, you'll need your hex codes, or if you work in Canva, you'll need hex codes. And you also have your RGB, so you can go into any of your Adobe products, and you'll be able to input the RGB value to kind of bring that into an Adobe product like Photoshop or Illustrator. So I'm just kind of continuing to wait. Hi, let me know if you can hear me okay. Just making sure I'm using my professional microphone to make sure it connected correctly. And I have it, make sure I have it on. Okay, I always worry about that. I talk and then no one can hear me. So great, so I was just kind of messing around. Triad. So you're going to have kind of your triad along the color wheel, which you can adjust. Ooh, it's a pretty fun tool. Okay, 1 more minute and I'll start to kind of look at what your projects are. Shades, this one's neat because you can get different shades, which works really well in logo design or graphic design in general. We're doing a flyer and you need to have like a darker contrast to show white text on top. It's nice to have lots of different shades. And I like to put them in order. That just makes me feel better, from darker to lighter. So that would be wonderful to do on a flyer where just one shade is not going to be enough, but you want them to be shades. And so down here you can kind of adjust each one a little bit too. Very, very powerful tool. And throughout the live session, I might import a few of, this is everybody who submitted a project. I might bring one of yours in and kind of mess around with some different options as well, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to pop into Photoshop. So welcome, we're going to officially start. I'm going to go kind of in order of how I kind of loaded everything into Photoshop. And this is going to be a little bit different because before with design challenges, I was able to kind of mark it up with a pen tool, and actually not the pen tool, but the brush tool, and kind of mark up and make some suggestions. And this is a little different because this is more subjective. So there is no wrong color palette. So this is really going to be kind of a review and maybe a show off of your different projects. And I might have some constructive feedback, but it's not really going to be, you could do this better, because, you know, all colors are beautiful and, you know, certain combinations work better than others. So, so this is going to be more of kind of a less of a critique and more of just a show off time. So this is kind of the palette I created. I wanted to kind of get something that was inspired by nature. You kind of saw the little video where I kind of showed you kind of the process of putting this mood board together. And I love putting together mood boards, especially when you can import it into color.adobe and be able to take the hard guessing work out of finding the right shade, which is hard if you just do it raw in Illustrator and you just feel like, where do I where do I go with this? I want to have a science behind my color choices, not just picking them out of thin air and hoping they match. So it's great to have a color system and everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and close out this, and we're going to start with the first project. So Chris is actually a fellow instructor who is on Skillshare, and she teaches some really cool fashion illustration classes. So go check it out; they're really fun. So she actually hand illustrated. I believe she uses Procreate app, and I've just been playing around with the Procreate app. So she does stuff on her Instagram where she draws all these really cool illustrations. So it's really neat how instead of sourcing just photos, she was able to source her illustrations and use that as her source of color inspiration for, it looks like kind of her brand, maybe an October theme. So she was able to kind of pair these really nice. This is nice because you have some cool shades. Let me go and get my marker ready. Just have my brush tool. I'm going to do like just a little bit, maybe like make it a little transparent so I can kind of mark it up. Okay, so you have these really nice neutral tones. And I think a successful color palette will have some neutral options. If you have 5 really strong colors, sometimes when you do a design, you need something more subtle and not as bold. So it's great to have neutrals in every color palette. And I almost have a gray in almost every color palette I do. I'll have that as an option, a couple of grays. And these actually might have a little bit of blue. And what's great about Photoshop, go ahead and zoom in here. Zoom in, and I can take the eyedropper tool, go ahead and make a sample. Looks like it might have a little blue in it, but we can check it out, huh? Double clicking the swatch, and I'll be able to find out what it has in it. So I can look down in this mixture. You can see the CMYK colors. You can also see the RGB right here. You can see it's actually a pure gray because it has the same values, 51, 51, 51, in the RGB. So it's actually 3333. So that means it's a perfect solid gray. There's no blue in it. There's no purple. It's just a really plain good gray. Probably the same for this. And that is a perfect gray. So those go great together because they're both perfect grays. They don't have any blues or browns in them. So great. And I love these warm tones. So awesome. Thank you for submitting a project, Chris. Okay, so next, go ahead and zoom in on this one. See if I can't do it with my trackpad. Okay, so this one has a lot of, when I'm looking at the photos, I'm seeing a lot of neutrals. So I'm seeing this gray. I'm not sure if they intended for the gray to be a part of the palette, but I like it. And you can do more than 5 colors. A palette can be 8. A lot of times you have primary, and when you do like a branding package, you'll have primary colors, which are going to be your really bold standout colors, and then you'll have like secondary colors, which are going to be kind of used, more neutrals. So sometimes you'll have primaries and secondaries, you'll have more than 5 color palettes. I've seen branding packages or I guess branding guideline manuals that have like 30 colors. It's crazy, but they're creating kind of a color palette that can exist everywhere. So you're going to have strong colors, neutral colors, all sorts of different tones to be able to expand everywhere, including black and white publication. And you just have to have a wide color palette to expand on so many different channels of marketing. So that's why they have so many. So I would like it if that gray was included. That would be a really nice complement to some of these bolder colors here. So this is a really nice pink. So I can kind of see where they sourced some of their colors. I guess they got this from the flower. And I really love this yellow. It's kind of like a gold yellow. It's really beautiful. If I double click on it, kind of see where it exists on the color picker. And what's cool about this is what makes it kind of soft is it has a little bit of gray in it. So you can see how if you move it over here, it adds more gray. You move it over here, it's more pure and more solid in color. When you add that gray, it softens. So this is really strong right here if you look at it, but they softened it a little bit to give it kind of a glow there. So that was nice. So I really like this color palette. Great job. I would include that gray just to have that neutral. You always got to have at least one neutral color in your color palette. Make it 6, make it 7. So great. Thank you so much for doing a project. So Andy is next. Ooh, this one's nice. So let me go ahead and zoom in. Just do my shortcut here. Okay, so what's great about this is they showed a practical application of their color. which I love to see because sometimes we do colors in isolation. And when we start to adapt it as designers to other things, we start to realize, ooh, that didn't work as well as I thought. The color palette looked fabulous by itself. When I started to apply it to designs, it was like, ugh, ugly. I recently did a Canva class, a personal branding class, and I did kind of my entire project or my entire personal brand on there, including the mood board and the color palette. And I ended up coming up with this beautiful green and gold palette, and it looked beautiful. But when I started to put those green and golds together in the logo and on the flyers and business cards, it looked ugly. So I ended up just going with the gold and then doing a neutral gray with it, and that worked. So great to see practical applications here. So I like how this is 2 shades. So I'm going to go ahead and get my eyedropper tool. So she has kind of this dark, like, I don't want to say raspberry, but it's like a really like a muted purple. And then she has this wonderful kind of a little bit lighter version of that purple. So those pair really nice together. If that was all the same shade, it would look kind of boring. But since she complemented it with a lighter version of that purple, it looks really lovely. And I love how they applied it to, or Andy applied it to kind of a black and white too. So that was good that he did that. And then kind of also showed it monochromatic, black and white, embossed on this little mock-up. So you can see lots of different applications using the color palette. And so here's the 2 shades of purple, and they almost turn into pink when you make it lighter. And this is a beautiful emerald color, or like a, I don't know, jade or something. It's really lovely. So if I double click on this color, I could take a look at it. It has a little bit of that gray because it's brought over here a little bit, and it's light. And if I look at my CMYK, let me go ahead and click on this again. You can see it has 0 black in it, so it's a nice, solid, beautiful color. And this looks like it's a brown, so let's see what it has in it. So let me see, it's kind of got an even distribution of your CMYK color inks. So it's kind of a nice brown, but has a little red in it. So beautiful, well done. I like kind of the city picture right here, and that looks really delicious. So this is a really nice, beautiful photo. So thank you, Andy, for a project. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Dia. Ooh, this one's pretty. So I asked some questions after they submitted the project, kind of, did they do the logo? Did they do the package? And they did everything. So they hand illustrated this little orange slice on there. I thought that was really neat. That's really great work in Illustrator. So I just want to commend them for kind of doing a really wonderful illustration. And this is a neat mock-up. So wherever you found that, that was really neat. I love seeing it the color palette applied to products and projects. So wow, talk about inspiration from fruit. So that's exactly what her candy is, Tropicandy. So they did exactly what they should have done, which is source photos from candy or from fruit to derive the colors. And boy, these are bright, punch in your face colors. And I love them a lot. So they're very beautiful. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but somehow I got disconnected from the live feed. So this is take 2. So I was currently working on this project. If you watch the first 10 minutes of the first live video, I'm not sure why I got cut off. So I'm just going back live again. So let me quickly refresh and get back on the second live feed. I had no clue why it did that, but here we go. So I'm going to give you a chance to get back onto this one. So hopefully that won't happen again. But I think I was in the middle of talking about how bold this palette was. And I just wanted to kind of sample each one. And I kind of realized why these all work well together. I can go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to go ahead and load this in. And I noticed that on the color picker, these all exist on this upper right quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this yellow. Notice that? They're all kind of in that upper right. So they're very bold. They don't have a lot of gray in them. And that's why they work so well together. So wonderful job. This is fantastic bold color palette, and I love seeing things applied to products. And I love, just going to zoom in one more time because I think that's wonderful, the job they did illustrating that with the pen tool, this little graphic there for the logo. Wonderful, bright, and vibrant. This is one of my favorites. So thank you so much, Dia, for submitting a project. I hate how your project got cut in half with the live video cutting off, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and keep this on my other screen, so for some reason the live feed gets taken down, I'll know it. Okay, so we're just keep going with projects. So delay. I think I'm saying that right. So this is for a wedding planning business. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was for, but it's for, I think, for a wedding coming up, kind of some themes. But you can definitely see where they sourced them for inspiration from their photos. You can definitely see that in the color selections they made. Lots of kind of neutrals, lighter colors. They all have maybe a little element of gray in them. They all kind of work really well together. And so what I like to do when I have a color palette is I like to have a light option. So maybe with this color palette, I might add like a cotton color or a super light gray. And let me see, Daylight. Let me see if I can't bring, this might be one where I bring into Adobe, play around. There we go. And so this is what Adobe automatically selects, which is, I don't know why they brought that green. I really liked what you kind of selected. But maybe you can just maybe have a sixth color, like maybe this light cotton gray color to kind of add to what you have, just to have a sixth color. Because when you do design, it's great to have some dark shades, which you definitely have. But it's also great to have a light shade because sometimes you just want to work with a lighter background color and just have that option. And I absolutely adore this blue. It's like a gray blue. Let's go ahead and double click it and see where it exists. So you see it's kind of over here where there's a little more gray, but it still has that blue in here. And if you look at the CMYK distribution, there's no black. So it's great to kind of pull this up so you can kind of see the distribution. And I try not to use black unless I really want something to be dark. So yeah, I really love that blue color. It's very lovely. I would paint my wall that color. So this is well done. I like how they put the little modern wedding here on the mood board. Just adds a nice elegance to it. So definitely elegant, high-end, beautiful, neutral. Love it. So thank you so much, Daylay, for doing a project. So all right, my live feed's still going. I have no clue why the other live feed was cut short. Okay, so Sandra. All right, this is I think this is for like a rental property, a beach rental property from what I remember. And these colors are marvelous. And she has these bright, vivid colors, or brighter colors, and then she has these wonderful 3 neutral tones. So this one, and this one can all be used frequently without being overwhelming. See, this blue can probably be overused very easily because it's strong, but neutrals, you can use neutrals much wider spaces in a design. So that's why neutrals are so nice to have in your color palette arsenal. So I really kind of like the picture. She sourced them from the beach, from relaxing. She kind of gets this entire, they really get the concept of mood board when they're trying to source inspiration from what they're deriving. So I love the color choices, kind of relaxing with a book, with coffee. Got the sign, got the man chilling out, got the footprints in the sand. So really kind of capturing her target audience for this beach rental property with her mood board. So this is a wonderful, wonderful, very soft, very relaxing, which is exactly what you were going for. So thank you so much, Sandra. All right, Kayasit, we have kind of an October kind of theme. This one's got your kind of neutrals and it's kind of got some bold colors as well. So I kind of like the photos you picked, but I'm trying to think of kind of your theme. You know, I'm trying to think, what's the theme of your mood board? Is it Halloween? Is it traveling? Sometimes with mood boards, it's nice to pick one theme to derive from and kind of stick with that with your photos. So if you want to make a Halloween, find 3 others that are Halloween focused, or if you want it to be kind of traveling, you can keep these 2 photos and find 2 other photos that are also traveling, or you know, to promote a travel brand or a lifestyle brand. So kind of go back and kind of figure out a theme, and that'll help you with your mood board, and it'll help kind of consolidate some of these color choices. So because you have these beautiful neutral colors and then you have these really strong red colors, and sometimes they can butt heads and clash a little bit. So kind of going back and getting that theme would be cool. But I do like some of these individual color choices. Like I really like this this orange color. It's a really nice division of colors. So thank you so much for submitting a project. So on to Mohammed. I think we have 2 Mohammeds. So this is Mohammed Samir, and this is for a WordPress. I think it's on Fiverr. Fiverr is a place where you can go and put your project. So you could do a logo design and be a designer on there and put your project on there. So I think this is for like a WordPress project that they want to be able to develop WordPress websites for people. So this is a color palette they sourced. And what's funny, or not funny, but I think probably done on purpose, is this blue. Whenever I think of WordPress, I think of the shade of blue, and I was wondering why. And then I went to WordPress.org and I found out WordPress.org, it's the same color. So that's great. That's great for brand recognition when you're selling something that is WordPress based, that you derive their colors from their brand into yours. And this green naturally complements with it. So that's kind of that's a nice shade. These two are both cool colors, and so they're nice. And you have kind of this cotton color, which is going to be your basic neutral, what you would use for backgrounds. And you have this lighter shade. So you have shades as well. So you have a lighter shade in case you want to use green, but you don't want to be too dark. So you have options. And this is a really, ooh, that's a nice dark slate color. That's some blue in it. Yep. It's like a gray, but blue and black. It's got a nice even distribution. It's just a really dark color. Nice. So that works really well. I think this could be your nice call to action color. This is going to be your base color, and this is going to be your neutral color you use for wider, larger backgrounds. So thank you, Mohammed. That was a fantastic project. All right, Shirley. This is one of my favorites. I think this is super well done. Very creative. First of all, I love the honeycomb shape of her color palette choices. I think that's really inventive, and what you see this a lot when you see brand packages and branding guidelines and branding pitch projects that you send to clients. Is you just don't send circles with colors. You kind of attach a little bit of that brand personality when it comes to this. So this is what you see a lot in branding guideline manuals. You'll see something really nice and done up like this. So this is kind of her inspiration. There's a theme. There's a very strong thematic presence with her photo choices. Really well done. There's brown and tans and neutrals in almost every photo, and you can tell with the color palette they all flow together. I would love to paint my walls in my house these colors. They're very sexy and very beautiful, and I especially love this carbon color. This carbon is beautiful. So let's take a further look at this carbon. So you have a nice even distribution. This is where it is on the color picker. It's got grays, but it still sources a little bit of that blue. It's not totally gray. Got a little hint of blue, and it's dark and rich and beautiful. It's not just a boring gray. So wonderful job. And these go well together. They're all kind of tans and neutrals. And of course she has cotton, and she named them. So that's even cooler, to name your colors. That's what you do when you do branding guideline manuals, is you name your colors, something unique to that company. So this is well done. One of my favorites. Excellent job. Great thematic choices in your photos. So wonderful. Thank you for submitting this, Shirley. Okay, next, Mohammed. So this one is really beautiful. I am a sucker for jewel tones. So this is a classic example of jewel tones. And so they combine all these beautifully. And look, there's your neutral, kind of a neutral. I mean, it's not super neutral, but it's neutral enough to kind of break the boldness of all the other colors. And what I would do is add a sixth color, which might be a lighter shade of this, but maybe be a cotton or a super light gray to complement kind of all that bold going on. So this is beautiful. I'm going to bring this one into color.adobe.com. So let me bring this in just for fun. Why not? We got time, right? Okay, so I'm going to import image. Mohammed, I think it's this one. So what I love, I almost selected almost your same color palette. That's pretty darn close. But you can kind of move these around to different ones. Let me see if I can undo that. Maybe not. But what's neat is when you load a picture or your mood board into Adobe, into this color.adobe, is you can go down here and pick some different color moods. So you could do dark, which I don't like, deep, muted, which is nice, bright. So it'll automatically pick specific color sets, so you don't have to feel like you're like, is that good? Is that good? Is that good? You can kind of test around these and mess with it a little bit. But I love the choices that he made in this one. Very neat. So great job. I love jewel tones. That was really well done. So thank you, Mohammed. So I think we have one more left. It's Christy. And this is for an ice cream. I think it's a food truck ice cream or just an ice cream shop. I can't remember, but I know it's ice cream business. And this is well done too. So I love the photo choices here. Very cool. I don't know if you got them on pexels.com, which is a great place where I source photos for my mood boards. But I like how you have a person in there. You're kind of having a smile, fun, pop of color, cotton colors. Um, so with your color palette, these are all very, very strong. Let me go back in here. So you kind of got the pink I see from the little background here, the orange there, and the light blue there. And I like these colors individually, but I think put together, they almost compete so strongly with each other. There's not like a kind of a theme. Um, but I think you're close. I mean, I like the orange. I like the purple. I like the gray. I think if you maybe just tweak the blue to maybe make it another warm color or another like poppy color. I'm trying to think of the right descriptor word for what I'm thinking of. But I think you're really close. I think you're really close. I love your image for inspiration. Let's pop yours. You're the last one, so I have a little time. I'm gonna pop yours into here. Boop boop boo, Christy. Oh, it's not gonna blow it up larger, is it? Ooh, that is ugly. I don't know why it automatically chose those colors, all these beautiful bold colors, and that's what Adobe chose. Okay, well, that's for colorful. So bright. Wow, look at that. That's beautiful. The pink I might change, but you talk about poppy and fun. That's pretty cool. I might change that shade of maybe that to a shade of, I don't know what I would change that to. Um, but yeah, it's some of your similar colors. You got your pink, you got the orange that you have this tan color. So pretty darn close. It's just kind of removing that blue. I think if you just remove that blue and tweak that color, you have a pretty good palette. Muted, I'm just playing around at this point. Deep, that's interesting. That's got some more neutrals. Dark, which is ugly. Wow, that is not pretty at all, dark. But anyway, I think I like kind of where you were going with the orange and the pink, kind of doing those bright, strong colors. Just maybe kind of something with that blue. I don't know why that one bothers me. And maybe, yeah. So maybe you can pull out, let's see, I'm trying to do something really different. Might be able to pull out maybe another shade of orange that's brighter, or I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, I like what you did. You definitely tell that's fun, and it's a fun color palette. It was exactly what an ice cream shop should be, is fun. So thank you, Christy, for posting something. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down. So it looks like my live feed is still going. I don't know why on earth it cut off. So we have 2 live feeds. Go back and watch the first 10 minutes on the first one, and then watch this one, and you'll be able to see the entire feed. And I think what I might do is go back and splice the 2 together and then upload it as a separate video on YouTube so you guys can watch it all as one video so they're not chopped up. So let me know what you want to do for the next design challenge. I got some ideas rolling in my head. I will do a poll to see what you guys prefer. And I'm just going to do my little shameless plug. And if you're on Skillshare, I constantly release classes about once or twice a month. And I just released a chocolate bar class. So go check it out if you're on Skillshare and you want to learn a little bit about graphic design, but in a package design sense. And if you take any of my Skillshare classes, please feel free to leave a review. They have a new review system. So that always helps get my name across to other students. And lastly, Udemy, I just released a new graphic design theory for beginners course. It's 5 hours of design theory. So if you guys are lacking in your design theory and want to really dive into that, go for it. If you take any of my Udemy classes, reviews mean so much in terms of helping my name get out there. So if you have a chance to review any class you're in, you've enjoyed this video, you've enjoyed the content, you're enjoying the Facebook group, please leave a review. I really, really would love that. So this is my kind of my Udemy page. That's my little shameless plug. So let me know what you guys want to do next. I've enjoyed this live stream. I'm going to put both of those videos together so they're not split up, and I'll repost it on the group Facebook page. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.